Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so pleased you're here. So I'm continuing my series by just using smaller canvases. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Smaller canvases I really find a challenge. I'm used to working on larger canvases. It gives me more room. It almost gives me that flexibility to change things up as well. And I don't always find that on small canvases. But I'm going to challenge myself and use smaller canvases going forward for a while anyway, because I want to prove all the techniques that we do don't always have to be on a large canvas. It can also be on a smaller canvas. And today I'm using one of my most favourite paint brands, and these are the pearlescent paints. So they look white, don't they? They all look white, but they change colour when they react with a darker background. So I'm going to take you down onto the table. You can see the canvas that I'm using. It's only a 12-inch by 10-inch canvas. I'm going to talk about the paints I'm going to use. And don't forget, if you want more information, expand the box. In that description, I always list my paint brands, my ratios, and my consistencies. I don't keep anything secret. It's always there in the video description for you to help you. So as always, thank you so much for joining me. Let's see what we can create. Okay, so here are the pearlescent paints by Amsterdam. I'm going to work with these today. And as you can see, I've got a pearl blue, a pearl violet, a pearl white, a pearl yellow, a pearl green, and a pearl red. And I've mixed all my paints up with pouring medium and water. 1 part paint, 1 part water, 3 parts pouring medium. So I've also written the name of the colour of the paint on my cup, because, there we go, that's the colour it should be. Because they all look white when they're like this. I don't know, let me see if I can show you in the light. In fact, the blue one's not always so easy to see. Can you see the violet there? Can you see the yellow? Don't know if I can. I don't know if the camera gets the shimmer of the paint. However, I tried, but you'll see the true colours throughout this process. So they're the colours that I'm going to use, even though they look all white. I've mixed up a black. It's a lamp black by Amsterdam. There we go, lamp black, and that's going to be my base colour. So, are you intrigued about what technique I'm going to do? Let me explain more now. So I'm just going to put some black paint on the base of this canvas. But if you're eagle-eyed, you'll know what technique I'm doing, because you can probably see the thing that I'm going to use as part of this creation. Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm using my marble to create some really interesting patterns on a puddle pour. So let me explain more. I'm spreading the black paint out on the surface area of the canvas. I've just noticed a blob of paint. I'm just going to remove that now with my palette knife. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to puddle pour on top. So I'm going to take one colour at a time and place a puddle of that paint on top of the black paint. And just to remind me what colour I'm using, I've written it on the cup, and I've also used a spatula with that colour that it refers to. So I'm starting off with the red, then the green, and then I'm going to just take one colour at a time and puddle those paints on the canvas. So I want a really good mixture of these colours across the full piece. So on top of those puddles, I'm just going to drizzle some of that colour over the top and into that base. There's a slight glow of the colour of those paints as it's starting to react. So let me take you in for a close-up just to show you what I've done. But can you see those puddles? Can you see the colour that they're going to be? So let me get my marble. I'm dropping it into one of those puddles. And then I'm literally going to tilt the canvas up and down, side to side, to allow that marble to travel across those puddles and also into that black. And as it travels, it's going to create some really fine lines. And this piece really comes into its own when we start to really tilt that paint across the surface area and down the sides. But let me just finish with the marble before we continue with the process. Okay, I'm happy with that, but let me take you in for a closer look before we stretch the canvas to show you those colours. They're already reacting. I can really see those blues. But what I love about the marble is those lines that it creates as it goes from one puddle to another. So the idea now is to stretch this paint out across the full surface area, push it down the sides, but also as I'm doing that, being really mindful of the composition, really looking at what my focal point is and how those lines are really opening up and expanding across the canvas as that paint is tilted from side to side. Okay, I'm happy with this. I'm going to place it back on my table and take you in for a closer look at the wet version. And you can probably see some of those colours already. I know I can really see that yellow, that green and that blue. A subtle hint of the red and definitely the white. So yeah, I'm going to leave this to dry. I'll place it to one side to dry. It'll take a day, maybe 2 days to dry to touch, but a good few weeks to fully cure before I seal it with a gloss varnish. But I'm going to show you shortly how this is going to react in the sunlight. So, are you ready to see the dry version? Here it is, the sun is out. I really wanted to show you it close up in the sun because I wanted you to see the vibrancy of those colours. And then what I'll do is I'll show you a close up once it's placed back on my table. But a big thank you to each and every one of you, as always, for being here, for showing up, turning up and supporting me. I can't tell you and express enough how much that means to me, and yeah, a big, big thank you. I really hope you've had fun with this one. I know I have. I hope I get to see you again in the next video, and I hope you have a great week ahead. See you soon. Bye.